Let's check the sound, cause everything is incorrect. Okay, so the sound is working. Look, we're going into a lockdown. Doesn't matter. It's just a mental lockdown. We're gonna see cars driving on the road same way. The rich are gonna be moving and traveling the exact same way. So what is this? It's the elimination of the middle class. Come on, man. Like, we're still here playing their game. But all this money from this monopoly BS we're on comes from my people. And I'm here been trying to fight to say, look, the male leadership of my culture has no say on this world map. And everyone else is like, well, it doesn't matter, bro, because at the end of the day, you guys had your movement. You had BLM, and you allowed the queer and the women and all the woo-woo-woo-woos take over the movement so black men couldn't actually get a chance to get back in the steering seat, bruh. Yo, do you understand that in other cultures, a man doesn't need money to be a man? It's only in Western culture and this faux black culture of our people tethering to white people's ting, trying to run down their energy to the point that we speak their language. We wear everything they do. We are literally white people with black skin. And our skin's not even black. So the fact that we call ourselves black is such a cognitive dissonance. Because my skin's brown. And I'm a native. And I descend from natives. And I descend from people who come from this land. That means I have more of a claim to say, hey, this is my land, than light-skinned people who are saying they're native because they can find out blood relatives over the last 500 years when Europeans been here too over the last 500 years. So I don't care about what you can put on paper when this is what is a fact. And everybody is going to put G in a position because I use hip-hop to push this motive, to push the fact that until you guys respect me for being the greatest in the ends, how could we ever respect any black person for anything they do, any of their contributions? This is our number one contribution to the game, entertainment. And I'm actually in the most progressive city on the planet, Toronto, in Canada. And I'm actually one of the greatest at what I do. And I still have to have money to get respect. Hip-hop as a religion, as a culture, don't have all you mofos bowing down to the God? And I don't have to explain myself because everybody in the streets who've been here for over a decade know what I've done. And I'm not here to complain about me, but this is a reality. We're going into another layer of pandemic. More people about to die for BS. More people about to lose their jobs for BS. And more a bunch of chaos is about to happen for BS. And my original thing is, look, the stock market is where all this money's coming from. But the stock market is based on my people's blood. Because the original commodities on the stock market was the black body. Was a black man standing and another black man, you say, yo, he's worth that. No, I want that. And they're buying us. We forgot that now we got enjoyed. We got comfortable enjoying being able to invest on the stock market ourselves. Nah, brother, I have to go for money because day to day I got to eat. But you guys won't get my actual mental complicity. The fact that I have to move in duality in order to stay true to myself. I put on this mission from when I was a youth. I was raised in a very woke community of black individuals who understood what this place was. And for some reason, half of us got educated, the other half got trapped out, and the other half got lost in the system, and now no one's really fighting for the mission no more. I don't see nobody coming in the cut saying, like, look, when we was kids, we went out, we was fighting for the mission. We said we was Christians, we said we was for God, but you know what? It's not even about saying we're Christians or for God, because even in the Bible, Christian is not even a proper term. Christian is actually a derogatory term. It's mentioned 3 times in the Bible, okay? Twice as a derogatory term by other people who weren't even themselves the Christians. They were calling look, those Christians. And then a 3rd time by Peter himself as just a little reference. But for some reason, the whole name of the movement now, and as long as you don't call yourself a Christian, you can't have any of those benefits. You can't be with the people. You can't be of God. You can't be righteous no more. Because I ain't claiming Christ, bro. Tell me why I need to claim the term Christ in order for you to understand I'm chosen, I'm righteous, and I'm from a movement that you can't even put your finger on, bro. It's the whole thing. It's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. I'm a human being like yourself. And you don't think I'm diving in to make sure I have communication with self every day before I try to come up here and share nothing with you guys? Look, this pandemic, whatever you want to call it, is going to get very, very personal. Right now, everyone's been enjoying the fact that they got served, they got rent deferrals, they got all these different things, they're getting all these different benefits. But what happens when the entire populace gets tired of Western countries being rich and terrorism actually has value? Before all those terrorist situations were like, you know what I mean? False flags. Because terrorism ain't really going to happen here like that. Right? But what happens now when the average person has a mental state that's debilitated, bro? And the entire black populace, we're still here saying, like, what, our lives matter. What has happened? What's going on? Why does this feel like this? Why do we expect the hierarchy to move in our perspective of what the next righteous step would be when they've never done so? But we still lay here lackadaisically trying to create allies and not actually championing those who are already saying fuck the system, who are already moving by themselves and moving towards greatness without waiting for no one to hold their hand. Are you guys kidding? Right now I have so much stress in my life because lack of support for the real mission. I don't care that my life is messed up, but it sucks that we're still gonna fail the mission and my life's messed up. Just because you guys could not see what was real in front of your face. Everybody wanted to come and have fun. No one wanted to work. And now, apocalypse. I don't care. I'm over it. We all gonna die together. We all gonna live together. If you did not want to see what the establishment put in forth hundreds of years ago, so now you could wake up to it now and be like, yo, how can we make the change? Okay, I'm gonna stop calling black people black. I'm gonna start calling them Africans or indigenous people. I'm gonna just start calling them off of cultural terms that have nothing to do with color. Oh, I don't see color. Oh, but I see color. I have to see color, but I don't see color. Shut up. It's not a color. It's a culture and phenotypes. It's culture and phenotypes, bro. And now I have to deal with people who are trying to lightly make lines in the sand now because we all don't have no big financial goal to go for. Now we have to go for our cultural differences. You're gonna watch. You're gonna see it happen. Like I know I'm talking so fast, so I might be tripping up my words and tripping up even my thoughts. And this is too long of a rant video to do that. But if you get the essence of what I'm saying, any mistake I've said throughout the video, you should understand my real intent. Like if I said the wrong word, if I grammatically said things incorrect. But this is my main thing. Like I gotta calm down so I can really say this point. Important. It's important. I tried to draw parallels of being an entrepreneur who started very early in music. I didn't start late. You know what I'm saying? I started as a kid. And I worked very hard. And I was given opportunities, and I actually have accolades. So there's very few things in terms of, oh, let's point our finger at G and say he's not doing this, that's why he hasn't achieved this and this in his life. Because I still have accolades that prove that I'm a hardworking person. Now, the reality is, I feel racism is something that is inherently in us. We are the system. So systematic racism is how we all deal with each other based on superficial and stereotypical thoughts that we have of each other. And that's why you can hear white people complain because, yeah, black folks in our elite positions, I'm not there in Jamaica living in no crops, trying to get myself here to Canada. I was born here, and I feel like I have all rights to here. So the average poor white person could come across me and feel like I'm being a bigot towards them. I get that. But that ain't the systemic racism because I'm not here in that moment being a bigot towards you for the sake of the plantation that my family came from. What we're talking about is the actual opportunity to change the plantation where I came from, to change the narrative of that history when you go there right now. And right now, when you go to any of these historic slave places, they're still controlled by the Western world. They're still controlled by white individuals. or by people who are not interested or representing the interests of the indigenous people, of my people, of black people, quote unquote. And let's add another layer to this, because I've already explained multiple times in multiple rants that black is just a social construct representing, in Western culture, the lowest rung of society. And now we're all here saying Black Lives Matter, not understanding that they've grouped us all as black before understanding that we are indigenous, and as the first black people, we need to be able to come out and lead the charge. This is our planet. The sun speaks to us, bro. Like, everyone's getting burnt except black people. No, everyone's getting burnt except the indigenous. And we have to understand, if you're indigenous, that means this is your natural habitat. Why would you get burnt? Now, maybe I'm gonna get burnt a bit more, because I'm not as dark as the Aboriginal man who came from the soil. And at the end of the day, were you there when light and earth inception process, like the way this whole thing started? Because I believe that I'm carbon. I believe that I'm vibrating light energy at such a high frequency that it literally stabilizes into flesh. I believe that. I only see things through light, and I only feel myself as a warmth energy, like heat. You get what I'm saying? All that to say, so that's a little blabble. That's nothing scientific. That's just more my science, like inner science. Like, you feel yourself, close your eyes, and you're like, what do I feel in my brain? What do I feel in my heart? What do I feel? You know what I'm saying? And it kind of makes sense based on your experience. Try and piece it together. All right? But off that, back on the on the real wave. If I'm really here to have a personal self-expression, a self-expression that is unique but completely connectable by every other expression happening out here, then something is disconnecting either within me or between me and y'all, or I guess that would be a better way to say within me or y'all within you. You know what I'm saying? Because my process of deliberating information is coming from a very true source. Like, I'm just speaking emotionally about logics. Things that are logically 2 + 2 = 4. And I'm now being emotional about how 2 and 2 = 4, and the fact that other people are not saying 2 + 2 = 4. So if you disconnect to that process, you either yourself can't see that 2 + 2 = 4, don't care, don't understand the value of understanding the mathematical equation. You just don't get it. And I could understand at this point, as you're full of fear because the media narratives are telling you so much that it will be even harder to run with a narrative that would actually destroy everything they're talking about in one strand. In one simple strand, bro. Health industry, destroyed, bro. Money, destroyed, bro. Everything. Food industry, destroyed, bro. Clothing, destroyed, bro. Tech, everything will be destroyed by this very simple logic that I am descendant of the original people of this land from this hemisphere. I do not come from some weird perspective of crossing over the Atlantic in slave ships bundled up with people pooing and shitting on each other, when our people taught you guys how to sail ships first. Our people came to you and said, this is how you're going to learn to travel the world. And now, for some reason, you traveled the world and brought us here. Even though Christopher Columbus, in his own novels, in his own diary, explains what he met, what he saw. That he saw dark-skinned people when he came on to North America. It was the Caribbean and South America, really. Because he didn't make it to the United States. That wasn't his discovery. So at the end of the day, you read these things, you read these books, you see the facts. Black folk, meaning all black folk, meaning Caucasian, Negroid, Asian, Mongoloid, and Dravidian people, when they're in their black energy, don't want to read, don't want to be educated by high-level science, don't want to take the time to be critical and think outside of the realms of what a box is. Reason being, there's so much fear of even leaving the box. If you leave the box, you probably have to let go, even in the first place, before knowing what you're going to hold on to. And this piece of truth that I'm telling you, a lot of these things you might have heard before, but a lot of them you may not. So it makes it hard to take on the entire rant as a factual thing. Or like, oh, this guy's being genuine. Or you know what, this guy, yeah, he is genuine, but he's also well-read and researched. You know what? He may not have all the facts on the tip of the tongue, but he's speaking away generally, so I can go back and research and double down on him and really make sure that this guy wasn't up here ranting nonsense. But half you guys know this stuff. Half you guys know that black folks, dark-skinned people, are the original inhabitants of the planet. That every single culture, if you were to dive back to their antiquities, were dark-skinned before whatever wars or new tribes slaughtered or whatever and took over the cultural practice, took over the area, took over everything. Okay? And that's my thing. That's my main thing, especially now when we see my culture, hip-hop, being appropriated by white folks in my own community, and they're the popular ones. I told you guys, fuck Chromas. Stop running with her. Why are you guys running with someone? I worked with her directly. I talked directly in her DMs and said, look, I see your brand has a great entertainment value. I'm here working with your homegirl. Come and work with me. I can get you a bag that is good for all you guys as a group, as girls. And she dissed because she didn't value that a black man could actually bring her to LA and get her the bag. Now she's in LA after dissing all of Toronto, hundreds of black men. And she's going to get the bag anyways because we're running behind her. And I don't care no more. It's like, I have to care, but what I'm saying in terms of my brand caring, my brand don't care, right? My brand, GMF, TriLLLG, doesn't care about that. But Garland Maxwell Frith, bro, the guy who's literally sitting here working to be the skilled individual to represent and be the face of this brand, cares about hip-hop, cares about being disrespected, and then having to move forward past the disrespect, and then still not making ends meet because of the racism and the systematic disadvantages I have to deal with. But then other people in their little cultural BS want to come in my face and go on like I don't have to deal with these things. This is my problem. Because the black man still has not been given the chance to steer his own car, to direct his own movement. It's the sad reality. And I'm a hardworking man. I'm not even a lazy coon. I'm actually a hardworking dude. I've become kind of lazy over the last little bit. I will admit. But that's through some personal situations, my love life, things that have really nothing to do with my motivations towards the community. Even though they are connected, tribe is tribe. But all this to say, if we were actually able to move forth with some of the great creative ideas I've had in my mind since I was very young, that have been pure, come from a heart that was pure, righteous for the cause of his people, and not for just self-elevating. You know what I mean? Folks think that I'm so hungry on the attention. No, I'm doing the work, and no one cares about the work, so I try and create a mode of attention so that you can see the work and care about the work. Everyone still cares about the moment of me getting the attention and then disappears back when it's time to work, and then wonder why I come back the next moment for attention sour. And the people in my own life don't get it. My parents don't get it. They love and see. They love when I drop the podcast. They love when I drop new music. They love when I say 1 million views, ludicrous. But they don't get the day-to-day hustle of being a black man working in Toronto, the 4th biggest city, trying to make my ends meet. My girl at the time, oh my gosh, you support, oh I understand, but really did she understand if she was asking for financial support for situations that didn't require my involvement in the first place? See, we act like we understand situations, but when I look back and I see how people who were in positions of intelligence, seeing me in my motion of grind, but bothering me with all their issues that actually weren't the main situation, I feel like I let the whole community down. Wasting 2 years with my girl, doing a podcast, and then you guys not running behind the whole thing, so she's souring me. You guys didn't run behind the whole thing, she's souring me. And now I have to stress you guys. That's like a one situation out of a million that goes on in my life. Currently, I've been homeless for like 3 years, and no one could know the difference. No one could ever know the difference because I move just as sloppy when I'm living good. Like when I was living in Caledon, had my own basement, boy upstairs, we're just moving, eating good fruits and vegetables, vegan life. So you guys saw how I was posting every day on with my iPad, my first iPad those days. I was still moving slummy. They were calling me Uncle G. I had the rough beard. That's when my whole transformation journey started. And if you know my parents, you know my mom, ask her about my childhood. Garland, clean your room. Garland, clean your room. I am a type of person, I don't care about, oh, right now, look, the desk is messy. I'm not that type. That's not my worry. My worry is that my mind is messy. My mind can't get from A to B. And obviously, if I can't leave the room because there's such an obstruction, I'm going to deal with that too. But just saying, oh, the desk is messy or why is all these things, that's not my issue. The main issue is my issue. And this is just the process. Because I'm going to clean it up later. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's been the main issue, that folks are close to me see my consistency of how I resiliently go for greatness, go for positivity, and get caught in my downfalls. How are you guys around me moving so soft? I need firm energy around me. I need folks who can understand what it really means to rock with a hustler who's gonna get it. Let me get back to my story. I said I was homeless 3 years. I'm still homeless, but I'm not. Because the whole time I've had resources to go and live nice and be good. But this mission is so important to my heart. This mission to use the arts to seep into your brain and to change your perspective and to connect with other artists, musicians who are doing so already. And let's change this game immediately before the higher ups care. But we care because we're close to being higher up ourselves. So actually, like I said, we are the ones holding up the establishment. We are the ones holding up the negativity. We are actually the ones pushing their agenda forward. We are all cogs in the machine, including myself. And the problem is to be able to disassociate from that position so you can look at yourself and have an actual moment of cognitive dissonance towards greatness. Not this moment where you're in your head and you're just like ignoring everything I'm saying about you actually being the beast. You actually being your Satan. Because I know I'm my Satan. That's the hardest thing for me because I'm my God. So I have to also admit that I'm my Satan. If you read the Bible properly, you understand that God is Satan. So anyone who wants to take control of their life has to also take control of their death. And that's the problem in our community. I can't even end on that point. I probably, I don't know. I can't end on that point, but I need to take a break. If only full consciousness, the totality of all logic, could be held at once. So I love computers. I do. I appreciate the ability for me to take my consciousness, place it in positions within this gem, this crystal, whatever you want to look at it as, so it can hold my consciousness and I can come back to it at later times and tap in and build a full thesis of thought, whether it be a song, a music video, a rant video, essay, doesn't matter. We have the ability to hold all our logics. And half of us, as people who are university graduates We aren't taking time to look at life to create a real thesis of thought, to actually analyze everything that's going down, make points, and come back to it. It would be a lifetime journey, obviously, and you would humble yourself every day and actually deal with people like they're humans and not like your slaves. Half of us tap into the character of being in this Western society, understanding that nature's all around us, so nature's reminding us at all times to go back and use Sankofa. We have the English words to remind us what nature's trying to remind us by just being there. We don't want to do it. It's hard. I know. It's hard for me. But if I could come up here and share all these situations with you guys, I think it's time for everything that I was saying. Like I said, it's like, it'll be crazy because it's days worth of videos I've been posting, and a lot of you guys ignore them or listen to them for fun and ignore the message. But no more. We have to start. Come on, man. You can't be in my face telling me I'm wrong and you ain't pushing the move.